CNN guest goes off on MAGA, gets pushback for asinine take. All right, guys, let's see what this takes us, guys. This is a suggestion via Discord.
The United States, land of the free, home of the brave, where freedom rings, where independence reigns. There are so many reasons to be proud to be an American. But one liberal commentator couldn't disagree more. Watch.
Okay.
As a patriot, Scott, I find it really troubling because they ran on this whole idea of this pseudo-patriotism, this regressive masculine patriotism, yet everything they're doing runs against making America great. Well, it was never great, so I'm not going to say the again part, but making America great. You're trying to defend the indefensible.
Wow.
Yeah, I absolutely feel that way. I absolutely feel that way. And I think if you had the history that my people have...
Just because you're loud, it doesn't mean you're correct, guys, right? Like, just because you raise your vocals, it doesn't mean what you're saying is meaningful in any manner. Just gonna be honest here. And based off of what she just said initially, I don't understand how she and other Democrats specifically that are in that party, right, are confused that they have a man problem. They don't understand it, guys. Why don't men want to be bothered with our party like they used to be? Because you have people like this leading the charge.
I'm not going to say the again part, but making America great. You're trying to defend the indefensible. Yeah, I absolutely feel that way. I absolutely feel that way. And I think if you had the history that my people had in this country, that you might have a modicum of understanding and respect for that. America was never great for me.
Am I not? Okay, her people. Obviously, she's referring to Black Americans. I am her people. And trust me, whatever she's saying, this is not the experience that I've had within the United States of America. That's just not it. Or maybe that's just because of where I was like potentially raised, how I was brought up. I was specifically brought up not to victimize myself and put myself into a box to the point where I cannot escape said box, right? And then you get stuck in that, and then that becomes your existence, and then you live your life based off of the victimization that you keep putting on yourself. No, I wasn't raised like that, guys. All right, and I have the same history she has. So, okay.
Standing in respect for that, America was never great for me.
Charles, what are your thoughts?
So America was never perfect, but America's always been great vis-a-vis the rest of the world.
Okay.
And I think that's what she's missing. A lot of times we look back at history with presentism. We take today's standards and we layer it over 200 years ago. I think, without a doubt, the founding fathers, the framers of the Constitution, if you study them, they were extraordinarily educated in world events and human behavior. And that's why the Constitution is what's the difference. So our motto, our goal, is to become a more perfect union. And we have made greater strides in that direction than any country on earth in a shorter period of time. And for that reason, we're great.
I mean, I can't say anything about that. That's just valid.
I think the most troubling part of that is that so many on the left find reasons to hate our country. We're seeing that in the protests right now that we're watching at our universities. We're seeing it. We saw it with George Floyd. I mean, these are people that are so angry and so hateful and so vile. And we should be coming together and finding common ground, not saying that America was never great. And it's really unfortunate. If she really believes that, I think that's really sad.
She does believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she believes it. She believes
that
it.
Being imperfect means hating the entire country is what's so sad too.
Yeah. And growing up in America today is a particularly phenomenal gift for a young woman. I took my daughter to this small memorial we have in the city where we live
She's
for
right.
9/11. Because
I
want
now.
her to understand, the sacrifices that have been made and what an impactful day that was, and to explain that piece of history, and just to be so grateful that she's an American girl. To be growing up a woman present today in America, an incredible gift. And you talked about presentism. Like, there are some terrible places to be a little girl around the world. So this, having a little American girl and trying to impart that to her is just part of what we're doing. Yeah.
All right, guys, so listen, really quickly. So I have 2 sons and 1 daughter. I absolutely want my daughter to exclusively take all of the benefits that she can get, specifically from what a Western country has the ability to offer. But now, on the opposite, I definitely would not push my sons to specifically marry an American woman. But that just comes down to a lot of super cultural things. I think that they will end up probably getting potentially better wives, more traditional wives, let's say, outside of the United States of America at this time, unless all the trad wives are hiding somewhere, but unless they can kind of start showing themselves at least. But for my daughter, I definitely want my daughter to take advantage of every single thing that comes from the West, because there is literally I can't think of another country or another set of countries, let's say, that will give her the same opportunities in life, guys. And again, I've traveled the entire planet, guys. I could just think of like the most. I've spent a good amount of time in the south of Spain, and we have done, referring to my wife and I at least, Chris, we have done a good amount of things in the country of Mauritania, where young girls are basically fattened for marriage by the age of 12 and 11. We've done a lot of like outreach type of work there, specifically helping young girls in that country, guys. There are issues for women and just female children. That's just the reality, specifically outside of the United States of America, not so much in the West. I understand it's fun to complain and things like that, but what are we comparing it to? So let's continue.
Like in Afghanistan, where we abandoned them under the prior administration, where those girls now can't even leave the house.
Yeah, great point. Look, when you think about Tiffany Cross, she used the word masculine patriotism. I was not aware that patriotism had a gender denotation. I guess that's what you learn from the highbrow commentary over at CNN.
I mean, she hates men,
She goes
it's
further
obvious.
to say America was never great, and she chose to double down on that statement. And I loved watching the reaction of Scott Jennings, seeing his face, and Joe Borelli when she said that. What an asinine statement. Are we perfect as a country? To Charles' point, no, we are not.
No, we're not.
Did we help rebuild Europe after World War II? Yes, we did. Did we create the greatest democratic, most enduring system of government in the world? Yes, we did. Did we have the first man on the moon in 1969? Yes, we did. Were we the first in flight with the Wright brothers? Yes, we were. America is a great country.
Wait a second.
And the more the Democratic Party, and she says, I'm not a Democrat. Okay, well, who'd you vote for, Tiffany Cross? Would love to know. The more the people of the left make those statements, the more it's going to backfire. That was rejected resoundingly in the last election, and it will continue to be, because most Americans are very proud of this country.
My grandfather hung his...
Yeah, see, because there are a couple other people from one of the South American countries that did a lot in terms of flight. But I do think that the Wright brothers definitely got off the ground, I'm thinking, first, guys.
Certificate of citizenship on the wall.
It's really
when
close.
He became a U.S. citizen. He was so proud. And then we inherited it and hung it on our walls. Every day I got to see that. So absolutely. My family, we are proud. And our families, we are proud. America's back. Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-host,
Okay, so they have the first sustained flight. Okay, that's what this is. But then, of course, like literally in Brazil, no one recognizes at all the Wright brothers, because there's a lot going on with that in terms of the dates and times, guys. But either way, there's some people who basically can never kind of see past their nose, if that makes any sense. And I do think that this woman that was speaking, obviously based off of a couple of her statements, she represents the Democrat Party well. She exudes man hatred pretty well. But I'm not surprised by these statements. I'm just going to be honest here. Like, if you watch them and listen to them speak, you'll start to realize that it's basically nothing but misandry consistently. The hatred of men, the outright hatred of men, and masculinity specifically, right? The fact that she just calls patriotism masculine patriotism, guys, that's a little wild. I don't like that statement, guys. I think love for the country should just be love for the country, personally. But all right, guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think. You guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly.